It's like even to put my drink. I don't have to go down or up.
So. The laptop will fit nice.
The laptop will fit nice. Yeah. So we'll
be good.
All good. Yeah.
Ready? Mm-hmm. Welcome back, Wildlings. This is Wild Whimsy, a podcast about trying things that are new to you and trying them yourself. I'm Deedles, and here with me is Faye. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about our next project, which will be in this podcast form as well as on our YouTube channel. So keep an eye out for that. Our next project that we're going to be working on is candles. And so we took a dive into the world of candle making. A dive it was.
Right, yeah.
As per our nature, let's research, the history of whatever project we're looking at first, and then kind of learn from that, and then use our own skills related to that if we have any, or because we like to try new things.
Right, we like to try new things. Yeah,
completely be new to us.
Yeah, completely new. Right. I did dip candles at one point. I don't remember when, but not enough to be like, I know what I'm doing. So,
right. Yeah. Whereas I have a little bit of experience doing crafts and things as a child, but also worked in a candle factory. And so I've seen the large scale production and low scale production as well. Yeah. So I'm familiar with those processes. Yeah. Enough to, at least get us started. And there are, again, where we bring our skills to the table. There is new skills that have developed over the years that, we're not necessarily that we're oblivious to, or just that we just didn't,
right.
We're stuck on the way we were doing it. And so that's why we're try it yourself.
Yeah.
And try new things, even if it is something that you're already skilled in. We want to try new ways of doing that.
Stealthily moving.
Stealth. Anyway, so candles.
Yes.
I learned a lot in the history of candles. It's very little, according to all of my sources and things. It was the internet, so I did make a document and put all my site references and things like that. So
right.
If there's anybody wants anywhere I got my information from, it was a hodgepodge of articles and history type web pages, a little bit of Wikipedia. There was a lot of information out there, as well as some books. Like I do have books at home that are about history, and crafts through history and such. And so I learned a lot.
And I think we can put some of those references somewhere on either our website or.
Oh yes, absolutely. If people want
the YouTube channel, we can put some
journey through the the hole that I went through, right, to find all the information.
Yeah.
Again, if there are I could be wrong, and there's probably other information out there that I'm not up to date on. So this is just what I've learned and what I put together.
Absolutely.
So it was 5,000 years ago. So but it wasn't a traditional candle. So the ancient Egyptians, I'm relying heavily on my notes at the moment because I'm kind of not feeling well. So just bear with me. They would use the core of reeds, and they would soak them in tallow or animal fat.
Oh, how
and then they would burn them. And so that was their form of a candle.
Yeah.
But what we consider a true candle today has a wick. And so these are wickless candles. Much like using a lantern, things like that. So they used what they had around them, which I love. We love around here.
Right, use what you have. Yep.
So that would be the ancient Romans who would develop the wicked candle. And this was they would roll papyrus repeatedly in melted tallow or beeswax.
Oh, cool.
Interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Like they were the first to use the beeswax method, and then they would burn them.
Oh, neat. That's super cool.
Oh, I'll finish because later on it explains.
Yeah.
So the Chinese, that's a cool one. They use molded paper tubes. I'm excited about that one because
isn't that how you learn?
Yes, I used paper towel and toilet paper tubes as my childhood learning of how to make candles, and so I was like, oh, that's so fun.
Yeah.
So they would do that, and they used insects and plant wax. So they would melt and extract the wax from plants and insects.
It's so weird that insects would produce a wax. Right? It's so weird.
They say that they used rolled rice paper for the wick. So they created the wick by using rice paper. And the Japanese made wax extract from tree nuts. So there's like all these cool, interesting ways to make wax. Like if you wanted to truly do like the hardcore.
You wanted to do the historical, let's go out and make some wax from insects.
I mean,
right?
Collect them.
I'd be interested to know what insects you can mash up to make a wax.
I mean, right? I mean, they gotta be. They're indigenous, so they're from that area, and it must just make the best burning fuel.
Right. Well, I guess we'll have to travel.
It's interesting. That would be wonderful. That'd be so neat. We're here to learn about candles in Japan. I mean, heck. Yeah. India used boiling fruit of the cinnamon tree. So they used a cinnamon tree fruit, and they would boil it and make candles with it. I guess it produces a wax. That's interesting stuff.
That's interesting. Yeah.
So I was like,
all right, so we're going to India.
So right, I mean, all these really neat ways. I'm like, how do I get a hold of a cinnamon tree?
Jeez, yeah. Yeah.
So moving to the Middle Ages, it's a very practical up through the 19th century. Actually, it's just all very practical. Usage, but it ranged in affordability, and that was something that I was like, oh, I just thought everybody, had a candles available to them.
Right.
But I've learned that during the Middle Ages, beeswax became the main candle thing.
Yeah.
But only the wealthy could afford them.
Right.
So it was like, oh, well.
Well, okay.
And it was also the era where candle makers would become a guild thing.
Oh.
They would come to your home, use the fat that was from cooking and stuff in your home to make candles, and you would pay them, whatever it was that they charged. They would also have, candle shops and things because it was just it was a thing that people needed.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
I enjoy the door-to-door candle making.
Right?
I was like, that's really cool.
Door-to-door candle making. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Right.
That's neat.
So that was in the 13th century. So from the Middle Ages to the 13th century, it really was churches and high, kings and queens and things like that. Yeah. They would be the ones that would have candles made of beeswax anyway.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure that, the tallow candles and things like that were still made by everybody else as a everyday use.
Yeah, yeah.
It would be colonial times here in America. So it took until they would use berries and from the hayberry bushes when they moved here to produce a sweet smelling wax that burned cleanly. But they say that extracting the berries was tedious. So they were like the first ones to bring the scented candle to the Americas.
Wow.
And I was like, that's really cool.
That's interesting.
Like they just, so candles burned with the tallow it was a gross smell for them as well as a smoky. They were smoky. And when the beeswax came, it became a cleaner burn.
Yeah.
So it smelled sweet and it didn't have as much smoke.
Yeah.
And so that was, that's interesting to see the from animal fat going to the waxes. So in a minute, I'll start talking about the evolution of the waxes and stuff and how the burn is cleaner throughout time. I was like, oh, that's interesting. So then bayberries, I don't know what they are. I could have looked it up, but I didn't. I was like, that's another rabbit hole, right? Like to look up all these
different berries
and bugs and things that people made candles out of. I was like, that's a whole other I just want the basics. So the whaling industry in the 18th century, would bring the first major change to crystallizing the whale oil, and it would become available so that candles would be a quantity. They come in quantity now.
Right.
And so Joseph, so they were made from, it's called spermaceti. Spermaceti wax. it's the crystallizing of sperm whales. So it's from the sperm whales, their oil from the sperm whales.
Yeah.
It burned brighter and harder than the tallow or beeswax.
Right.
So it wouldn't soften in the summer heat and things like that. So it was just like a stronger, longer, kind of like glue sticks. Right, you have ones that burn through real quick, and you have others that are slow to melt.
Slow burning. Yeah.
So it's like that. In the 1820s. So now we're in the 1800s where we're going to see the invention of electricity and things start to happen, and the candles are,
candles are like
canceled,
right? Yeah, no longer relevant or needed as much. Yeah, except when the power goes out.
So this guy, he was a French chemist named Michael Eugene Chevreul. Chevreul. I'm probably butchered that. I'll put the spelling on the edit for you guys.
Right.
He apparently discovered how to extract stearic acid from animal fatty acids, which led to stearin wax. It's hard, durable, and burned clean. So it was the first animal byproduct candle that burned clean. So that was interesting.
That's interesting. Yeah.
In the 1830s, inventor Joseph Morgan. I don't know if that's a very familiar name.
Not at all.
J.P. Morgan.
Oh, J.P. Morgan. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. So Joseph Morgan is his granddaddy.
Right.
He was the first to develop the machinery that allowed for the mass production of candles.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so the large vats of wax, the conveyor belt of molds and things. I'm like, that's a cool, I worked in a candle factory, so I'm like, that's awesome.
So that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome base knowledge for that.
So I was interested. That was really cool to learn that it was Joseph Morgan. I even had to look up if it was any relation. I was like, and it was the family, the Morgan family.
Wow.
I was like, interesting.
That's crazy.
So then now candles are affordable.
Yeah.
But now candles are also on the decline.
Right.
Because in 1879, the light bulb came, and then that's that, right? So candles start their decline.
Yep.
They wouldn't return really heavy hardcore till the 20th century. When U.S. oil and the meat packing industries would increase the availability of tallow and packaging materials.
Right.
So they were coming in various shapes, sizes, and colors. It was like an explosion of different candles. And the escalation of scented candles, right? That was like the big let's do this. The colonial ladies started something, right? And they were like, oh, let's do this. So in the 1980s, so they were the interest in candles became a decorative. Instead of utilitarian, we're switching over to decorations. So in the 80s, we have our pillar candles, we have our candles in a jar, we have our candle. They were just that's decoration. You don't light them. Like your grandma was like, nope.
No, we had our emergency candles growing up, and so when the power went out, you got out the oil lamps and the candles, and and they were boring white stick candles,
right?
That you used. I don't think my mom, because I grew up in the 80s. I don't remember any quote unquote decorative candles in our house.
Of course, my mom, they were all utilitarian.
She was a no frills person, anyways. So
right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So the fascinating thing to me was it wasn't until the 1980s where candles were like reinvented into this new. They rebranded. Rebranded in the 80s, and we're like, let's just hang out and be comfy.
Yeah, just decorative.
Yeah, make rooms. So it was like, setting moods, and they were given as gifts and things like that more prevalently in the industry.
Yeah.
In the 90s, we would see more wax, different types of wax coming. So you had the soy wax, paraffin. So paraffin waxes, and palm wax, all kinds of different waxes.
Yeah.
These are just some pardon me. Examples of what they excuse me.
Yep.
The different kinds of wax over time. It's weird that the boom of those waxes didn't happen until the late 20th century.
Right, until the 2000s, I would say, the boom.
So very interesting,
once again, in the 2000s, early 2000s, I wasn't into buying candles. It wasn't like I wasn't going shopping and looking for candles or anything.
None of that,
But then again, I was on a limited budget, so I don't think candles were in the forefront of my mind. So I don't know, as far as
I remember there was a point where my mom started buying the scented.
Yeah. She started buying the scented.
Because to this day, I have this aversion to vanilla.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And she loves it, and that's fine.
Right.
You like what you want. But.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, vanilla is it's too much. Pardon me. Oh my goodness.
Okay. Yeah. So that's interesting. I don't think I've started getting into different flavors. They're not flavors, scents of candles and the look of them and that sort of thing until, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah.
If that. Yeah. If that.
I have always been into the candles as part of my spirituality. Candles are important to, those practices. And so, during this time, it was not scented. They were just, it was the color part that mattered. And then the, what they were made of and things like that are important.
Yeah.
So through. And to this day, it's what they're made, I'm like, all natural materials versus the chemical.
Oh.
Pardon me. Cooking wax is very different than...
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I definitely, as far as the different types of waxes, if I'm shopping for candles or whatever, I do lean towards soy for some reason. I just think the scents that they attach to soy and that sort of thing, the scents are... everything I possibly can about this one subject matter.
The desire to do so was there. Oh, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. And so, yeah, because the more you know about something.
Yeah.
I was like, this could be like a course in college. You take a whole semester to learn about, each culture and how they use candles.
Right.
Both in religious practices as well as everyday use.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's super interesting to learn about all of that. And then, of course, our focus mainly is going to be on modern day candle making, and how to go about it and that sort of thing. And then, as a side project, we can do the deep dive and then talk about that later. But I think for the purposes of this particular podcast, we're looking at making candles the way you learned how to make candles, with the paper tubes and the cardboard tubes, and doing that stuff, even making candles from crayons.
Yes.
And then we'll switch gears and then learn about some more modern techniques, or techniques maybe that were around when you were making candles.
I think this is basically the molds.
Yeah, and the molds.
That's the biggest change from going in the way that I did it as a kid with crafting versus the way that the factory did it.
Yep.
Same process, just on a larger scale, with different molds, you know, and then ways of doing the mold part.
Yeah.
So that's where everything is.
Right. And then to the candle making crafters that are out there now, how they make their candles to sell at like farmers markets and craft fairs and things like that, because they're in between those two scales.
Yep.
And how they may have efficient ways of doing things, and of course on a smaller scale than a factory. So but they are fun. There's one merchant at one of the medieval events that we go to, and they make candles. All the candles are out of beeswax.
Yes,
and they do an amazing amount of business. You can't even get to their table sometimes. But they, talking about molds, they do like really fun molds. And I still have one. He's a hippo and he's upside down. And the wick is coming out of his butt. It's so cute. But he's got the cutest face and everything. But they do like really fun molds and stuff.
I mean, working in a factory, it was all pillar candles, and so it's the same shape, different sizes, and you're just like, so deep
dive,
searching for stuff and looking at stuff, and I was like, that mold is cool.
Yeah.
That's going to be a seashell, or that's going to be and it's fascinating. Again, materials too. I didn't know you could use silicone.
Oh, I didn't know that.
To do wax. I thought it would be too hot. And then I was like, in the factory anyway, the wax that we were using did not burn your skin. It was hot to the touch and things like that. But if it sat on your skin, it was like an instant dry, instant cool kind of. And
then you have soft hands afterwards, because it does have those properties to make you have soft hands.
Right?
Dip your hands in wax. Yeah, also the meltability of these things, like the beeswax. Like these merchants are out in the middle of the sun. They're not under trees. Their tent is out in the middle of the sun for 2 weeks. And it's like, every time I walk by, I'm going, how is beeswax not melting? Because you would think, beeswax, it would melt just from the sun and from the heat. It would melt at a much higher rate than maybe just regular candle wax. But once again, not educated in the science of it. So.
Yes. So the different waxes have definitely different properties and things, and we'll get into that as we move into the actual doing part of our podcast. And so then we'll be able to be like, I enjoyed working with the paraffin wax over the soy, over the, however, and we can even do that. We can compare the different waxes, and how long they burn and things like that is also a factor when you're doing candles. There is I've learned a lot too about the manufacturing and selling of candles.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
As part of the dive that I did was, turning that into money. How do you do that?
Right.
So I got curious and kind of dove down into that pond, and it's that's interesting because for my personal projects, I was like, oh,
right, yeah, absolutely, yeah, that's right.
But burn time, and there's the amount of candles you want to produce and how you want to do them. It's all like this. Yeah, that's even that's a whole semester worth of classes.
That sounds more mathy too. So
very, very right. How much wax makes an 8-ounce candle? Versus
and that's we've already done a little bit of that math because we were thinking about going down that road as well. Gosh, there was something that just like popped into my head and now it's gone about making candles. It was the scents. Also, because we want to add scents to our candles and seeing how the scents react, if the oils and the fragrances and things like that, how they react in the soy or the beeswax or the paraffin wax or the whatever wax you're using, how those scents change depending on the wax that you put them in and how they smell when you're burning them, because you can smell a candle and go, oh, that smells really good, but when it burns it may smell a little differently. So I'm kind of interested to see how the fragrances that you add to the candle wax, if they change in fragrance at all. So that was just, I get things that just pop in my head as you're talking.
No, that's good. No, that's a good questions. Absolutely. Yeah, that is a good question.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and fun too.
Right.
Really.
Right. And the different kinds of wicks, because the candle that I bought you had a wooden wick.
Yes.
And
which added to the scent of the candle.
Yeah.
It was a candle. I don't know. It was, but it smelled like I was sitting at the ocean. It was the coolest combination of scents, the wooden wick versus the scents in the candle itself. Yeah.
And they nailed it. And that was a soy candle that I had gotten. So yeah, and I just feel like soy candles, the fragrance and the smell of it is much stronger than a regular.
The wax doesn't have a scent.
Yeah,
so it is whatever you put in there.
Yeah, so be cool if we could. Cool if we could recreate that scent. So.
Oh my! I don't want to steal, but anyway.
Right? Yeah, no, it would be different anyways because we don't know what they put in.
That's true.
That's fragrance true. That they put into the candle. But yeah, to see the difference between like a regular wick and a wooden wick, and any other kinds of wicks that are out there and how they burn and that sort of thing.
Oh yeah. So yeah. It definitely drives towards that, that desire to, that's why we're here to try it ourselves, because we're like, I have all these questions. And, I think we're both pretty hands-on people. And so until we do it ourselves, we can read all we want. We can learn all we want. We can watch as many YouTube and other TikTok, whatever. We can watch all this stuff, learn all this stuff, and still not know what it's like until we actually do the thing.
Definitely a hands-on learner. I think I always have been. If somebody's teaching it to me, I get bored really quickly. Yeah, I have a hard time opening my eyes. But I do. But I like doing the research. I like doing deep dives, and then also do the hands-on learning. Yeah, I tend to learn a lot quicker with the hands-on learning. So it'll be fun to try all these little experiments that we want to do with the candles and that sort of thing.
Yeah, find the one that works best for our future projects. Right, that's for sure.
I think it would be fun too to make our own mold, take the tin, bend the tin, or whatever we're using, whatever material we're using to make that mold. I think that would be fun.
Another skill that I've hidden is making molds. So we'll talk about that. Right. We'll utilize utilize those skills.
I should be making a list of like all the things that we want to do.
Skills. Yeah, for sure. We definitely need because we're definitely all over the place with that was cool. Let's learn how to do that. Oh, that's the coolest thing ever. Really,
I think that's where the wild comes in. And whatever.
We're doing candles. They're so cool. And then it's so fast. I mean, I have a few candles from collections, and he's in the shape of a wizard, right? You know, it is a beautiful sculpture, old candle sculpturing. I mean, come on, like that.
Right. And those are the candles that you just don't want to burn. Like, I don't think I'll ever burn my little hippo. Yeah. Because he's just too freaking cute. I mean, you know, like, I can't burn my little hippo.
Something about him.
There's something about him. Although we did, meltability. Oh, I don't know what it was. So we were on the way to this big medieval event that I was talking about, where I bought the beeswax candle. We stopped at a like a kitschy, you know, like one of those touristy trap shops or whatever. And so my husband and we decided to buy some cheese that was wrapped in wax. And we had peeled the wax off and put it on the dashboard of the car. Oh boy. Accidentally left it on, and it just melted right into the dashboard of the car. So, trying to scrape that off was not fun. So yes, wax that you wrap your cheese in, that melts in the hot sun. So that experiment is done.
So while the history is real fun, there truly is only two ways. I mean, as far as making your traditional candles, so let's say wicked candles, is a pillar form. Yeah. And so those are done in glass molds, or they're. You know, the factory that I worked with used metal molds. You put them in the mold, dry them in the mold, take them out of the mold, shine them up, and send them down their way.
Right.
And then dipped candles. Yes. So that is the older method. Yep. It is dipping it in hot wax and then letting it drip and dry. So it's a drying method, but it's wax and cold water, which is really interesting. It's like a heat and a cool, and that gets your layers going faster.
Okay.
Manufacturing wise. So I learned a lot about the dipping, because that was something I had never done. And so diving into the world of dipped candles was very interesting. And
that's the one that I remember learning, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah. But I did it when I was like in third grade. So the memory of, exactly the process and how to do it and that sort of thing didn't stick with me. But I think, as you explained it, it's fairly simple. It's just a little bit more time consuming.
A little bit, yes. Yeah. And so that's the standard. And it says, production wise, the pouring method is, the faster, more efficient way or whatever. But the dipping is a more traditional and takes a little bit more time. And I'm like, it takes a little bit more time. That's right.
Yeah, that's okay.
Even manufacture, they've manufactured that as well as this big machines that dip and do all that. Yeah, for tapered candles and stuff. So
I love tapered candles.
I think they're neat.
Yeah, I think they're. In my mind, they tend to be a little bit more old-fashioned. Just because that's probably, taper candles in the colonial times is what they had. But I always think of it as a more old-fashioned type candle, but I still love them. I love the look of them.
I think that is
wall sconces that I put my tapered candles
wall sconces. And then it's the romantic allure, right? They look really cool when they're melting. There's tons of drawings and paintings and pictures of that type of. So when you think candle, that's the first thing that comes to mind is that Lumiere from Beauty and the Beast, right? It's a melting candle,
And for sure.
So that's the first thing that comes to my mind when I think of that is the taper.
Yeah.
And so. And then it's pillar candles after that, and those are your today's, scented candles and the decorative things are more in the pillar form than ever.
Yeah. Yeah. People just buy those like crazy.
I mean, they're not, like I'm addicted to, I love candles. And so.
Yep. I love candles. I have the whole little thing full of candles. So.
Yeah. And they do wax melts and, all that things for the burners.
I have had 2 wax melt things now, or maybe 3. I don't know. But they're not as effective as I've tried to buy a replacement light bulb and it wasn't as strong as the initial light bulb that you got in the package and that sort of thing. And my wax melts aren't melting, and it was kind of frustrating for me. So now they're just decorative features in my living room.
I tend towards the tea light versions. The little tea candles, and they do the perfect amount of heat to melt your wax.
Right. Yeah. So I've kind of given up on the melts.
It's the holders too, like all the cool candle holders out there with you said wall sconces, and then you have your candelabras, and back in the day, it was your chandeliers all had all these beautiful pillar candles just lighting it up, and I mean, they were everywhere. And beautiful. And they had like special jobs, like people who would, that's all their job was is to change the candles in the chandelier, right? Yeah. Oh, that one's dead. Put a new candle in.
Yeah.
It's a whole process.
It's a whole process. Yeah. Before electricity. So
I love it. I think it's great.
But so looking forward to experimenting. Yeah. We have to gather some supplies. And I think we'll try our first candle making soon.
Yes.
And I think we just, and then just talk about, we'll start with the process that you made when you were a kid.
We're going to start with pouring, and we're going to start with the basic, even kids can do it version, and work our way up to the nicer, not nicer, but like, this is what they would use in a factory kind of molds and things like that in the process. Yeah. And talk more about that. And then we'll have a segment on the dipping, because I think that would be really fun.
I think that would be fun.
And then in those, we'll learn, how to color the wax, and even, in the pillar version, we'll learn how to do the fragrance. I mean, I'm not sure how, so that'll be fun to learn about.
Yeah.
And try. Again, I've only just made the pillars, right. And then burn them. I didn't put fragrance in them or anything like that. I mean, it truly does depend on, like I like to recycle wax and things like that, but when you try to recycle scented candle wax, it really it doesn't work. The scent you come out with you're like, whoa, okay, I'll never burn that. That's a decorative candle now, because it isn't nice. Or it might be nice and you can't replicate it because you used 3 different fragrance waxes. And you're like, I don't remember what they were, and it just came out that way. So that's kind of my thing with the using what's on hand. That kind of shines through. And tell people as a gift, don't burn it.
Don't burn it. Just look at it. It's just pretty.
And then sculpting with wax. I mean, I have done stuff in college in my sculpting class where the base mold for metal processes, excuse me, was first a wax sculpture, and it's a special type of wax that is easy to melt in your hands. It has a low temp to melt in your hands.
Oh, okay.
And then you create the sculpture, and then the ceramic mold after that to pour your molten metal. Oh, so that's my metal sculpting, which I love.
Right. Yeah.
And so I know how to use wax to make a mold and that kind of stuff. So we'll talk about that during our our processes making.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we look forward to folks listening and then checking out our YouTube channel where we'll have the actual creation, or where we're going to have the created videos where we're creating.
Yep.
And show you what we went through.
Yeah.
And then we'll chat about how that went for us.
Yeah.
It'll be great.
Yeah, it'll
We're
be
gonna have
fun.
a good time. We had a lot of fun with the coffee table, and it came out great, nice and sturdy. We love it.
Sturdy, yep. It's great. First time using it.
Yep.
So it seems to be holding up just fine. Of course, we haven't put like a ton of bricks on it or anything like that. But
but it's gonna serve its purpose.
It is, for sure.
So.
For sure.
All right, well, until next time.
Yep.
Stay wild.